Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 115 of a Naughty Mess Knitting podcast. Okay, I actually think this will be a pretty short episode, but I have two finished objects and almost no other things to talk about because this is really all I worked on this week, and there's a reason why, and I'll talk about that. And also I have knit weekend coming up, so I have some things I want to just talk through, maybe what my plans are for the weekend, what we're going to be doing, and that's all. We'll keep it short, we'll keep it sweet, and yeah. So if you're new here, hi, welcome to my little corner of the internet. This will be an interesting episode since I will have a very short project list, but I am a mostly knitter and sometimes crocheter. I spin yarn and I sometimes do needlepoint or cross stitch. I will say I have this quarter since October just abandoned my cross stitch project. I know I'm not going to get it done by the end of the year. I still will try to fix Theo's name on my old stocking. These are Christmas stockings. There's not a real rush. I mean, obviously I'd like them to have done by Christmas, but next Christmas is fine too. Theo's not like, she's into big presents. I don't think she's going to be into stockings so much this year, but we'll have them out and I think she'll be a little bit more aware. So my name is Megan. I did this so out of order. I live in the Pacific Northwest with my husband, Mike, our daughter, Theo, our dog, Winter, and my mom, Cindy. And yeah, we talk about all these knitty things. So fibery goodness. We're here to talk about this week, my finished object, 2, my new cast on, a spin update, and maybe like one other project update. And that's it because we'll talk about it. So, and books. I'm always here to talk about books. I'm ready to talk about books on Discord. I'm reading all the time. So let's go through first what I'm wearing. Today I am wearing a test knit. No, this test knit is not due yet. I did complete it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like I think exactly 2 weeks, 14 days. So that was very fast. It's a whole sweater. It's DK weight, but it's at a very tight gauge, really a sport weight gauge. So it's small. But let's look at it because it's gorgeous. So I wish I had taken, and I did not do this, and I should have, because I didn't even block this until like midday yesterday. I wish I had taken pre-blocking pictures because this is a big difference blocking this one for a stockinette knit. I have been wearing this at work today, so it's a little wrinkly, just because I've been sitting with it on, but this is newly blocked. I am not going to change the angle of the camera because this is you can see my like full sleeves then from this. Okay, so let me take the hair out so you can really see the full. I think you can pick up the lines from here. The lines are quite stark in person. You can really see them. I did pin and block to open. So the things that changed a lot with blocking is because I pinned those to be a little bit more open. It opened the top body a lot. This was sitting more scrunched on my shoulders, which was fine because there was still a lot of sleeve length and width. So that wasn't really a problem. But what it did was like, it relaxed the body like a couple of inches, enough so that this is just sitting and draping really nice and comfortably on me. And before blocking, this is my jeans, they're way up here. Before blocking, it was a little shorter and it was a little tighter and it looked fine, but it didn't have quite the comfy vibe that I think I wanted with this one, with less ease than suggested in the pattern. So I'll get a little closer. You can see these lines are so yummy. Like, it's really nice. Like I said over the last week, that the lines from front and back split to go down both. So you take half of each down the sleeve and down the body. So it looks really nice. I have a fuzzy on here. Yeah, the side of the body looks nice. There are, I do have bust darts on. You can see them right here. They are this shape of bust dart. So you can see where they start and then they end a little bit further out. I actually really am glad I did that because it does, even with as much drape as this has, it keeps this from belling at all, which has happened even with things with ease. And so like with positive ease. And I think this is like, it's a perfect fit, honestly. The other thing that really changed with blocking is I did block this not aggressively, but I did open up the rib here and the rib here. Obviously this rib opening up has it sit nicer at my hips than it did pre-blocking, but this made a big difference because when you saw it last week, like it was quite tight looking, and it's just, you know, just kind of like this. Like I didn't really block these to open at all. So when it sat on me, I felt like I had to pull it a little bit to get it to sit like her picture and like how I imagined it was supposed to sit, sort of more open on your chest. And because I blocked it a little more open, it just like, I put it on today and I was like, that's so perfect. Like immediately perfect. Really wonderful, feels great. Don't have to adjust it. I have not like played with the neckline at all day long. And I do feel like sweaters are often like you know, you're sitting and you kind of get in a position where like, oh, the neckline's maybe riding up in the front a little bit and you just have to like, I don't feel like I have to wiggle at all. It's like perfect. Part of that I think is because there are quite a lot of short rows in the back here. So where you start your back, there are, I mean, I think it was significantly like this much of short row shaping in the back before you go to the round. And that's why the, you know, short row shaping is really for front neck shaping, right? It's not back shaping. It's adding space in the back so your front neck is sitting appropriately. And this, go look at an Amy Sherry video. She's recently put some reels up about this. So just so you know. Yeah, so I'm loving the fit. Let's look at the back together. I don't know. You can see the lines are nice and open there too. I pinned this in the front, so I don't, you know, I just tried to keep them like lined up a little bit I did pin like on either side of this to open it. So yeah, it's so cute. I really love it. Okay, now let's talk about like some measurements and the sizing and some other things. I will take a picture outside today though. This is maybe not what I'll put up on Ravelry because this weekend is knit weekend. While everybody else is going to Rhinebeck, we are heading up to an island just off the coast of, you know, Washington. It is part of Washington, obviously, but we are going to just have a knit weekend. We'll be inside knitting. But taking some pictures outside, weather permitting. And I am going to bring this as my finished object to take pictures with. I might also, because I have lots of time until the Instagram release of this, so I might bring this one. This is my Scorn sweater. And I might, yeah, I don't know that I have many other finished objects I like want to take pictures of up there. So I'll kind of look and see if there's anything I don't love the pictures of that I have on Ravelry or whatever right now, then I can take pictures. We usually like do a couple outfit changes, and I think I'll post in our little Discord to see if anybody has matching stuff they want to wear that we haven't gotten matching pictures with. That's always fun. But this is size 4. It's supposed to be 49. I think actually I put a quarter in the notes before, but I think it says 49.75 on the actual pattern when I was looking at it again. It is made with Woolfolk Far. The color is 40, and that is 100% non-superwash merino in a chainette style yarn. So there's nothing else making the chain. The chainette is just the plies. The plies are like, feel very like loose and floofy, but together feel very strong. We can look at this gauge, like you can see it is quite tight. Where I did go down to needle size, so the whole thing is knit with a 4mm needle, except for the ribbing. Ribbing is done with a 3.5, all the major parts of ribbing, but the ribbing here is maybe even a little more open looking because it's done with the body needle. As I said before, you do this knit in the round. So I did the collar, and the collar has, you can now see where those are. They're like, honestly, it does, you know, they're apparent. There are 4 of them on the front and 2 on the back, where you do just an extra purl stitch here. And that is what kind of gives you a flare in the collar that allows it to sit really nicely as it pulls down more. What was worrying me too when I put this on before I washed it is that the collar was sitting a little bit higher and I had to pull it down. And it was also because I cast on or whatever. I don't know. It's like the 2-step, you know, ribbing cast on that you can do without a crochet hook. And it doesn't typically have a lot of flare, but like pre-wash, because this was much tighter, it was flaring a little bit. And I was like, ooh, I hope that this, like, you know, and it looks fine. It looks perfect now. So, The gauge is what I said, 22 stitches. So like quite tight. In a 4mm yarn. I didn't struggle to achieve that with a 4mm needle. That's like pretty tight for a 4mm needle though. This yarn is super squishy, but it's also like, it squishes well. It doesn't, even though it does, I think if you knit this at a bigger gauge, it would take up all the space too, right? So it's kind of got that quality. There's just airy. My final measurements are, the bust is 49.75 inches. And I did have to pin it to the measurement that it was supposed to be. The length from underarm to hem is 11.5. I did add a little bit of length. I think that this is supposed to be like 10 or something. I added a little length before the ribbing, so I kept the ribbing 4 full inches. You actually do the bust shaping too, by the way, right before you split for sleeves, because this is a really low armhole. She's taking that into account. So you do the bust shaping so that it sits right, and then you like right after you cast off. And you don't have to, and there's like 4 sizes of bust shaping, and I just did size 1 or 2. I'll look back at my notes and then put that in Ravelry. Okay, total length is 22.5 inches, which means that my armhole length depth is right at 11 inches. My sleeve length is 18 inches. These are real long. Did you see this on my fingers when I was standing up? They go longer than, I don't know, that it's not longer than I like. It's just longer than I typically knit, but I think that like the look of this is what it's supposed to be. I did do the arm view of longer, more tapered. That was like, there's shorter, less tapered, longer, more tapered. And I did, it has a 17-inch bicep, which is quite roomy, and the cuff is 11 inches. There are decreases, but there's not a ton. The decreases also run on the outside of the ribbing, so you're never decreasing in the ribbing, so you can kind of see, it's not super obvious, the decrease line there, which I think looks really nice. It just like, yeah, it looks really, and I used 10.93 skeins. So I think it was, I think maybe I got 12 skeins of this in total. Yeah, I think I got 12 skeins in total. There's one I didn't wind up at all, and there's one that I used about half of. So most of these skeins probably have a little bit of overage, not a ton. And so 10.93, that's what it says. It's 1,552 yards. I'm a little bit under yardage for what's estimated though, so I'll get those numbers to Jesika, even though I went, you know, over in length and I'm on gauge, so I'll just get her those numbers. But yeah, I'm really loving it. I think it was a really good choice in size for me because I didn't do as much ease as was recommended. I know myself, to me, anything bigger, especially if it's much bigger on my shoulders with the raglan line, I think it looks a little bit more frumpy on me. It just like, I have smaller shoulders for as wide like as my hips and bust are, and this is a beauty of making your own clothes, is that you can adjust for those things in how you like your fit to be. The other thing that was nice in the pattern is she did have, after you split for sleeves, some waist shaping options, or just like a note on like where and how you could do that. And yeah, that was nice to see. She is a newer pattern designer, so like I think she's gonna just like get her formula even better. But I do think this is a very nice pattern. It's nicely written. The formatting is okay for me. There are kind of a lot of explanations, so I think that you could get through this in like, if you've never done bust shaping inside of a raglan, if you've never, you know, done a raglan with like some extra like, you know, things in it, or doing quite as many short rows, like I think all of those things she explained really well, and I didn't find that to be confusing or have any questions. I will read through the last iteration before it comes out too, just make sure it looks good. But yeah, I enjoyed making this. I would say like, would I make it again? This is such a hard scale. I actually think I would make this one again. I do think that the gauge is rather challenging with a DK weight yarn, so I would be interested in doing this with a sport weight. I think this would actually be a really nice use your own hand spun knit, especially if you have something that's like a light sport or like fluctuates a little bit, because you could probably get away with like doing some gauge adjustments that are not crazy. I do like how the compound shaping works, like especially in here, like how it fits. But I will say, I think that this is like a little bit holy to me, and I don't know that there's a way to prevent that just with having a one stitch between two created stitches. I'm okay with it. It sits in your underarm. Maybe it'll honestly be a little bit of like venting. So it'll be fine. But yeah, I think overall I thought it was a nice pattern. I do think it's going to be kind of like a wardrobe staple. Like, I think I'm gonna wear this a lot. This is not a color I typically pick for myself. I don't often pick really bright light colors, but this is a very cool toned light color, and it's within my color palette, something I think I will reach for without feeling like I need to adjust my face a lot for it to work for me. I wore it today at work and I was like, I feel so cute. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. I think overall it was a worth it pattern for sure. Worth it to test for her. I would test for Jesika again. I thought that she was easy to work with. I hope she moves her pattern tests over to Discord. She's on Slack right now and we've had a couple of challenges there. But just I'm glad she has a channel where she's been really responsive. She's a brand new mom, so like this is crazy. But yeah, it's been nice. This yarn was generously donated from Woolfolk. They support testers. I don't know if it's all testers or it's most testers for patterns that launch on their website, and they have kits for and stuff. So this will be out mid-end November, so you can look for it then. Woolfolk will do a whole thing. I'll do my post, you know, you'll see it. I really enjoyed working with this yarn. It is mega soft. I'll let you know how it goes pilling wise, because I do think I'll reach for this quite often this winter. It's an expensive sweater. So I used 11 skeins of this, and you know, they're not cheap. So let's just be really clear. I will say, now that I've had it, if I am in the mood for like a truly splurge experience, this is one I put on my radar again. I want to see how it goes pilling wise, because I don't want to buy something that then I just feel like I have to treat really, really, really preciously. I think they have a couple of their merinos that are like just a 2-ply or a 3-ply that are really soft and will pill like crazy. It's just the nature of that fiber. When it's really soft like that, even non-superwash, like it'll just felt a little bit and it'll pill. This is a hand knit problem. This is not a Woolfolk issue, right? This is just a wool issue. As opposed to some other fibers. So, and it depends on what your mixes are and stuff like that. But I do think like this to me feels splurge worthy. So there's like just a note. I don't know that I'll do it. I'll keep you all posted. I do see them at shows on occasion when we go down to Rose City, when you can get it without tax. Also great in Oregon. That's where they're located. But like it does feel more luxurious than a lot of my other sweaters. Like I have very soft, nice sweaters, and this feels a touch above. So I really like it. I thank you, Woolfolk, for supporting me on this. I'll continue to test some of their things. I've not used the same yarn yet from them. So I've used 3 different of their yarn bases. They've all been quite a different experience. This so far has been my favorite. It's the closest to just like a normal yarn though. But it's still like a fun construction yarn. Like it's an interesting, like it's not just, you know, a regular yarn. It's got a little something special. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know, rating wise, right? Like I would say if you can afford it, if you want a splurge, then I think it's a worth it yarn, but, I will still give you an update, and maybe by the end of the year, I can give you a true update on like how I felt wearing it, how it's been pilling and things like that. Just don't let me forget. Okay, let's talk about my other finished object for the week. This is Henri. He's done. He's adorable-ish. He still looks like a weird pinhead. I mean, this is a weird pattern. This is definitely the weirdest, I think least cute of all of the animals in the Moosh and Friends book, but he is done. I have not washed his clothes. I will wash his clothes because I need to give his legs like a little bit of length and pin them and stuff. But he's done, and he's done enough. I'm not going to show him again with adjusted clothes on. I'll take pictures of him and put them on Ravelry. I don't expect his sweater to change very much, though I do think his arms will get a little bit of space. I think that's the only thing that'll change with washing, and I'll block these pants to just give a little bit more like leg length. I did make a boo-boo in the pants, and I did not go back and correct it, and I would not go back and correct it because that's too much work. But just one of the rows right before splitting for the legs, I was off, and I corrected it on the second leg, but the first leg is slightly off, but you can't really even see it, so it's fine. So he's got these like lined kind of trousers. They're made with like I think I showed you them last week. They have like a knit, a twisted knit sort of broken rib situation here. There's his little butt. And then the sweater itself, I love this pattern of less love the twisted knit stitches, but of like a ribbed section and a purl section. So you get these like nice kind of alternating lines, like it's a basket weavy look. And I think it looks really cute. So this was done bottom up. I just, followed the pattern exactly. You split, front and back are identical because you're doing just like a little turtleneck, and then you pick up and knit your turtleneck, and then you just pick up sleeves. And because you were doing slipped edge, you just pick up your edge stitches. You don't have to think very hard. And then you knit until the cuff this is knit through the back loop, and then it changes to regular ribbing, and it's so that he can have his cuffs rolled too, just like the neckline. And again, I think I'll just give him a little length when blocking so I can like roll his sleeves, and they cover more of his, they don't look like they're short bracelet sleeves. So right now he doesn't have them out. So this is for a friend. This will be done. I'll block them. I'll probably block and pin them over the weekend, just put them in my office while I'm gone so they can be dried. But I'm going to call him done. Henri from Cynthia Valet Moosh and Friends book is done. So this is my second Moosh and Friend this year. Theo did see him in my office today, and this is maybe the first time she's seen him, and she was really upset that she couldn't have him. And I told her, I reminded her, we'll look at the book and we'll pick out the character she wants first. And I told her she'd have it for Christmas. So yeah, she's excited to get one of her own. I didn't mind making the monkey as much as I thought the clothes were more annoying, and the clothes are at a bigger gauge and whatever. And I think it's just because you have to do an entire sweater structure pattern, like all of the little pieces for this little thing, whereas like there's so much interesting things. I'm just like waiting for the whole of the character to come together, that like that is less annoying. I don't know what to tell you, but I did feel aggrieved making these clothes. I was like, oh my gosh, they're never gonna end. And that's really why this was the only two things I worked on this week. I finished this sweater on Monday, and then Monday night after knit night, I left a ball of yarn at home. I could have finished it probably during knit night or close to. Oh, by the way, this is all Italian bind off, so it's the 2-step. Like I fully did the 2 setup rows, and then I did the sewn bind off. And I don't split my stitches to do the sewn bind off. I know some people do that, but that's crazy to me. And so, and that went great. And it was actually fine with the yarn too. It didn't feel like it was fuzzing or fraying too much. So, that was positive. And then I went to bed once I finished it, and then I washed it the next day. Or even I think maybe Tuesday night. And so it dried 2 days. It took 2 days to dry. It's cold here now. And I was working on the pants already. I think we're done. So I just had to do the sweater. And those were like the 2 big things I knew I wanted to get done this week. And when we were walking the dog on Tuesday, I'll tell you the whole story. So, let's start here. We have a cat in the neighborhood who likes to taunt our dog. She walks in front of our house a lot. She sits on our porch sometimes, we just have like an open porch on the front. She goes in the back of our house, and she can climb over our gates, right? She's a cat. She can do whatever she wants. We have a slider door in our house, and she'll just walk by it, like slowly, like taunting the dog. Theo loves when the cat is by and she'll look. There's a couple other neighborhood cats, but there's one in particular who's on our property a lot. And it's our neighbor's cat. So like our next door neighbor. She just like loves to taunt Winter, and Winter gets her hair all puffed. She cares way more about that cat than any other animal that's in our yard. Bunnies are in our yard all the time. Squirrels are in our yard. Doesn't care about them, but she cares about this cat. So all the cats, but this cat in particular. So I didn't realize the cat was in our yard on Tuesday. We were walking back from our walk. We have a big bush that's like right between our neighbor and our house. So I didn't see anything happening, and there's sort of a rock wall between our house and the sidewalk. Anyway, the dog pulled really aggressively. I let the leash go, but it was kind of wrapped around my hand. Gave me an injury. So I have been having some forearm pain. It was really bad on Tuesday, so I didn't really knit. I knit just a little bit in the evening just to see if I could, after I had been like icing all day long, on and off, took a painkiller and then I didn't want to overdo it. So I didn't really knit on Tuesday. And then yesterday I did finish this sweater, but I was like taking a lot of breaks and icing because I need to be able to knit this weekend. We're going away to knit. I don't want to be twiddling my thumbs and not knitting. So I thought it'd be more important for me to heal myself and take care of my body. And so I've done some stretching, some more icing. I did a little heat then, and just kind of relaxing my forearm. Luckily, like, I could not squeeze or open my hand without forearm pain on Tuesday. By Wednesday waking up, it's been a lot better. And so I am not injured forever. I just am still babying it a little bit. So just very low knitting. I did a little bit of spinning, which I just don't grip very hard in my left hand. So that was okay yesterday. Just like, I didn't want to bother it, right? And I'll continue to take care of it the next couple of days, and today and tomorrow before we leave, so that I can have a whole weekend of knitting. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. So I will say I have almost no other I really don't have any other progress. I did not work on my crosshatches. This is the first week I have not worked on my crosshatch in a long time. I didn't do it, but I will take it to knit weekend, and I'll get probably a lot done there because it'll be like part of my conversational knit, because I don't have to think about that one. I did work on my Elton, but I did not bring it in here because I added like 4 stripes. It's not enough to matter. I did join the Bali last week, and I think or 2 weeks ago, and then I think I hadn't really picked it up since then. I added maybe like 4 to 6 stripes. Like, it's just not a lot, like a little bit of body. I'm not going to show it to you. It doesn't feel momentous enough. What I will say is hopefully I will also bring that one this weekend. I think I'll bring the next 3 I'll talk about. And so crosshatch, Elton, and then my flax and maybe my Mila, but I'm not sure. As just projects to rotate between. And then, but that's a good one that I could bring, because also I can do lots of movie knitting with that one. Once I start sleeves this weekend, then I think that'll, or maybe I'll do the collar and then sleeves. That'll feel like a place to show you next time. Now that I've got this, like, this was the big project to get done, and now I will get back to some of these other projects, so, you know, we'll see them next week. My oversized seasons cardigan got no work, my Mila got no work, and the flax got no work whatsoever. So the only one I actually worked on otherwise is what I cast on during knit night this week. And then I worked on this one a little bit on Tuesday also, just because the needles are bigger, the yarn's a little bit bigger, and I was like, maybe this won't hurt my arm. We talked about this several weeks ago, and I just hadn't cast it on yet. And so here we are. Here is my Fluffball Raglan. This is a pattern in testing from Claire Jackson, who is perfectly knotted. This is intended to be like a super, I would say super bulky gauge. It is 12 stitches per 4 inches. So quite large and open. I think I'm on gauge. I should do a measurement. I think I looked at the end of the night when I was doing this. I finished short row shaping, and then I have done like 1 raglan increase since then, or yeah, like 1 or 2. So now I'm just doing the raglan until I get ready. This, as a reminder, is these 2 yarns, which I showed you, and it's quite a lot of coverage. So this Surrey has a lot of coverage. It's a little lighter than I thought that I'd want with this dark green yarn. So this is the petite wool from We Are Knitters. This is yarn I've had in stash for a very long time. I think I bought this off of D-Stash from somebody at quite a discount, and so it was like kind of early in my knitting life. I don't do a lot of single ply knitting anymore, but the only way I'll use this in a sweater for the most part is with a fluff. And so this is a full coverage fluff. This is my original plan for this this year was going to be, or in my project tracker, was going to be this. Also a lighter color, has a lot of depth. This is the color Wyoming from ZZ Textiles. And it's a mohair, which would have been much less coverage, but still light. I'm okay. I'm glad I'm using this one. I have other plans for this one potentially. But I don't mind the full coverage. Okay, so this is Sorella Alpaca Surrey. So this is 100% Surrey alpaca. And I think she has a Surrey and a Surrey lace. This one's just the Surrey. It's 437 yards for 100 grams. It's actually going to be more yardage than I need for the sweater, just these 2 skeins, because this is because it's such a large gauge. Yeah, I don't need that much yarn. I have enough of this to cover 2. This is going to be like the take up the most room project wise for this weekend, but I a little bit mindless. It'll be nice to get this one done pretty quickly. Again, this is a Fluffball Raglan, and Claire did her first sample, and I don't know if she's making another one with us, but she did her sample with 2 strands of Surrey DK from Paisley Knits. And there's a couple other, you know, dyers that have that like fluffy Surrey, DK Surrey. I have some here off camera. This is Getaway Car from the Taylor Swift collection. It's this red. It's this red in real life. And this is like, I can show you. This is like just a single strand also, but it's like kind of got like, it's varied amounts of like, the alpaca is like not necessarily very evenly spread on here. And so I've heard ripping back in that is awful. This one is, because it's 100% alpaca, I think it's a really slightly more fluff coverage for sure than a regular Surrey, but not a ton more. I think what the yardage difference is, I mean, I guess it feels the same amount per, but like the yardage difference is that the strand is alpaca also, so it's thicker. It's just that it's not as lace weight as like a silk strand that is really highly durable and can be really very thin. This feels like just under a finger, or like a light fingering weight strand that just has a bunch of fluff on it. That's what it feels like. So this color is Lodge. And I originally thought that maybe I would get some Lodge or similar color to do a pink velvet. Is that the pattern from Andrea Mowry? That has like she uses a Ching fiber Surrey fingering also for that. What I decided is I got regular Surrey and I'm going to hold it double, which will be even thicker actually, but a different color. So this was just sitting in my stash and that is fine. Now I can use it. So I'm happy with how this is looking so far. What I will say is that a couple of testers have noted this too. It's quite a tight neckline. I don't know if Claire just did hers like a lot thinner or something. Some people, she wrote her instructions to do like knit two together after the neckline, and I knew that that would be way too tight. It feels tight to get it over my head. I'm going to block it out pretty aggressively, but I also am going to sew it down. So I'll probably block it first, honestly. You know, even when I'm like fully done the whole sweater, I'll block this first out like this, then I'll sew it down so I know that I'm not sewing it too tight. But she did put in these nice, she did the same thing for, gosh, the beanie that I use. I don't remember what the beanie is that I made for her earlier this year, but she has this like round for the fold line. That's not a purl line, so it doesn't interrupt your ribbing, but it does give you a line to fold at, and it's just made with some slip stitches. And so it already curls the fabric in a little bit just because of that. So it's like a really like clean looking fold line. That's all I have to say about this so far. Nothing has really happened. I finished short rows. I'm starting the raglan, and it's a Fluffball Raglan. Like, it's a raglan. So it'll have nice growth. I am doing size 5, which is I think 48 inches. A slightly less ease in bust than recommended, but enough ease in the upper bust. I might do for this one a little bit more ease right at my bust, but I don't know. I think I'll probably bring some cables to try this on over the weekend too, because I might get that far, because it's really, I just think not going to take that long. This is a test, but it's not due until like the end of November, I think. So I've got quite a lot of time, but it did start like 3 weeks ago. So I want to get in like the first wave of people kind of getting it done. I'm working on V4 of the pattern. So there's already been a couple of iterations, just really small changes. One was like a copy paste thing, like further in the pattern, you know, things that I have not come across yet, but clean so far, and enjoying it. As a reminder, Claire's patterns are the ones with like the chart at the bottom. So went in and filled all my numbers in at the end of knit night this week. So I'm ready to just move really quick on that. Oh, I will say I didn't also show you my house. Only thing I did on my house this week was like finish the back color, or the front, fill in the color. So I'm not going to show that. I'm hoping to take a little bit of this yarn and stuff and also do that during movie time this weekend to start filling in the side panels. That's the last I have to do besides the strap, and I'm hoping to get all of it done, not before next week's episode, but that weekend. That's when I'm hoping to get it all done. So I need to work with my mom on picking the things and giving her dimensions for while I'm gone this weekend, and she'll do the fabric for me. So that's good. And once that's ready, I can start assembling. I mean, I need the sides too, but like I will get them done. The only other thing to talk about real quick is my spin. So I am making a spin with me video, so I'm not going to talk about this very much. But here is my Gently Chaotic Fibers spin from Yarn Jam. This is from her Podcasters collection. She did put up, if anyone saw this, that she may be bringing back that collection in November. Limited release again, but just getting some of that dyed up. If you missed out the first time and you like any of our colors, I'll rehash it once I know the dates. So not right now, but maybe next weekend I'll look into it. I'll just message her and see. But this is Emily Curtis's color. This is a knit friend of mine. If I don't finish it, I'll take it with me to ply this weekend. But I think I'm going to try to ply this before I leave. I've just been filming in front of here. And I'm ready. I actually did not, this is just done on my auto winder. I did not respin this yet, and I'm not going to. This one in particular, I'm going to chain ply, and because not everything is facing the same direction anyway, I'm just going to go with it from here, and call it good. And so I'm chain plying this. I want to unmuddy the waters here. I want to keep the colors mostly separate. Luckily there's like white between most of them, so I shouldn't, even if I go a little bit of more blue and white, like that transition should be okay, you know, white to red, white and yellow, then I won't have red plus blue together ever, really, right? Like that's my goal. So I might do that chain ply tonight, even while I'm editing, or tomorrow early morning. I don't think I'll wash before I leave, but I'd like it to have it done. And even if it just rests on the bobbin before I leave, that's what I would like for the weekend. So this is singles done. It's not as thin as I wanted it to be, but these tweeds make it a little bit difficult to go really thin because you just get clumps of them, and you want the tweed, which is kind of think of like a really not mixed in silk. Like you want a little bit of that with a little bit of the wool throughout. You don't want one or the other. So you just have to, like, I don't know. I just feel like my fingers cannot make it super, super thin. But I don't have a thing that I necessarily want to make with this right now. So if it's almost like a worsted weight skein, that's fine. I think that'll be great. And we'll see where I want to use it, either as a complementary color and a pattern, or do something like cute with short repeats, like mitts or something like that would be really fun. That's my spin update. Now let's talk about the last whip, as always, and our favorite thing to talk about, the book snake. I'm not gonna wear the book snake this year or this week, but let's just bring it up here. I feel like you couldn't even tell last week because you can't even see me. There's so much snake. He's so cute though. Look at him. Here's the little face, and all the way back here is the tail end from this week. So this is my first skein still of the white. Like, I'm shocked that it got me that far. Like, I could tell about halfway through that I was like, wow, this is gonna go a lot further than I thought. I will probably not make it through all of next week before I have to get my second skein out, which is fine. And I will pull that out and start knitting with it. But I read 6 books this week, so let's talk about them. First of all, I read the first of the Deception trilogy, number 1, from Rina Kent. This is my first Rina Kent book. I've got another one already in, not the second of the series because that's a wait list, but another series in my library. Like, I have it on my shelf from the library to read this week. One that's very popularly, I think this is a reverse harem, like a wide shoes story, just one that's been recommended a bunch, and it's very fall vibes. So that one is coming, but this one is called Vow of Deception, and it's there was a good twist in the end. I thought that this is what was going to happen. I'm a little confused about what is going on. I mean, I think you're supposed to be, because like the person doesn't know what's going on. So I'm going to continue reading it. This is like a Russian mafia dark romance. There's a girl who's been living on the street, and she's told she's the doppelganger for this mafia boss's dead wife. And he says that she now has to become the wife, or he framed her for murder. Like, I can keep you out of jail and you can pretend to be my wife, or you can go to jail and, you know, see ya. She chooses no jail. It's, you're just not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know. There's like a whole thing at the end that I was like, wow, I don't know that I saw that coming. Also, like, what is happening? So we'll see. I feel medium about it right now. I don't want to tell you anything because I don't want to give you spoilers. The guy is like an alpha male, respect my authority, do what I say. And I don't love that very much because he's also not the kind of affectionate that I appreciate, but I'm here for figuring out what is going on with her. So I'm going to keep reading it. So I'll let you know. Anyway, the second book here is the second. I got this earlier, much earlier than I thought. This is Savage Bonds. This is The Bonds That Tie #2 by Bree. I read the first one the week before last. Anyway, this is a dark romance also. This is a wide choose, a fated mates. One girl has 5 mates. Yeah. She has 5 mates, and when you're the center person of a bond, it could be a guy or a girl. In this case, it's a girl. Your bondeds all get more power, and you get more power. You like share power when you actually finish the bond. She didn't want to bond for a particular reason, mostly about her power, which you're still learning what it is, even in this book. Anyway, I thought that this was good. It's really hard to tell in here, but there's some like purples and some dark blues inside of this with like a dark gray that I thought were like good with the book. It's very dark and mysterious, the book cover. And this is, the second one is like you pick right up after the end of the first one. Like I don't want to tell you, but they're getting rescued right at the end of the first one. And so that's where you pick up for the second one. People are out to get them. You're still trying to figure out exactly what happened with her and this resistance. And more things come to light for everybody. And so I think there are some of the people in the relationship are like reevaluating why she ran away and other things. I really like this series. I don't want to give too much away as I'm reading them, but I really enjoy it. And I think that so far, like, I definitely want to read the next ones, and I have those in the library back on my TBR too, like in my queue. To be the next in line for it. Okay, this one here is something I wrote with my eyeballs. This is an Elsie Silver book. It's called Wild Card. It's Rose Hill #4. Rose Hill is a series of, like, it's just a small town, and these are just like a friend group. So there's not like a common theme amongst any of the people. Like, one of them is a horse trainer and a pop star. The other one is a billionaire and my best friend's little sister, right? So like it's a bunch of different things. This one is what we would call our Silver Fox kind of town grump, or the friend group grump. He does aerial fire cover for wildfires. I guess we'll say that. All across the world, but you know, specifically in the US and Canada. And his name is Bash, and Bash meets a girl at an airport on a bad day, and they have a connection, and then fate is unkind to them, and then they reconnect later, but there's a mess and complications. So I won't give you any more than that, but this is about Bash and Gwen. It is you meet both of them in other books, and you even like revisit this one scene where they see each other again for the first time in a while, and you don't know the history in the other book that you read it in, and so you get it from their perspective this time, and it was very interesting. But anyway, I thought this color was like, oh, it's actually, this is not this color, but it's very, very close. This is the palette yarn that I used for my sister-in-law Lauren's Daydreamer from Andrew Mowry that I made earlier last year. I don't know when I made that, but this is very similar color. Anyway, I thought that was good for the background color. And I really like this. I loved this series. I think this might be the last one of the Rose Hill series. I mean, they could pick other people. They did introduce a character though that's a part of a new series at the end of this one that I was like, oh, I want to know more about him. And I knew you just know how she introduces them, that they're gonna get they're a main character energy. And so there will be another series, and I will just continue reading Elsie Silver forever. They're almost always like, I can only get them in book format, not audio book, from the library. And I love them so much. So I'm going to keep reading them. Okay. This one here is the Pucking Wrong guy from the Pucking Wrong series from Sarah Jane. This one I read not that long ago about Lincoln and Monroe, and Lincoln is like wholly unhinged. This guy is even more unhinged, but like in a sweeter way? Question mark. This one is about Ari and Blake reconnecting after meeting as children, and Ari is already obsessed with her and takes things into his own hands to get them their relationship kindled. I don't want to say rekindled because they met as children, like, you know, but it is unhinged for sure. These are unhinged. This is dark romance in that, like, you have a character make a morally gray male character making, I mean, either character, but like him especially, making very questionable, like, moral, legal, ethical decisions to start this relationship, and I'm here for it. He loves her hard. Okay, the next one here is called Her Males. This is the second book by Invi, Wright, the female. So I read that way back here, the first one. So, you know, a dozen or more books ago, 20 books ago. But anyway, it really picked up like right in the middle, and there was no like recap of what had happened. So I had to like mentally get myself back to what was going on. But this one is about the society where like females have become scarce and females are not producing more females. Like they're just birthing males. It's like some weird phenomenon. And so they're like being sold to the highest bidders from all the different races. There's like involves demons and fates and vampires and like shifters and just all kinds of other creatures in our world, but like far in the future, because they could like kind of allude to like back in the day for humans when they were just humans or whatever. Anyway, the characters are getting more on board with being together as like a love square. This is a relationship. This is like an everybody in a relationship with each other type thing, kind of. And it's one female and three guys anyway. But this one it's the writing style is like kind of interesting. The narrator is a little bit interesting. I'm gonna finish it because I think it's just a trilogy and I kind of want to know what's gonna happen. A lot of stuff happened in this one, and I was like pretty pissed at two of the guys for part of it. So at least I like feel for them. But at the very end, this is like looming, but you don't know which direction it's coming from. They're like someone pops in and they're like, they're coming now. Like it's going to be a war. Like someone's getting attacked right now. So anyway, I thought this was a pretty good match for the base cover color. And this is my dark gold DK tweed from ZZ Textiles, from my heirloom quilt cardigan. Okay, and then the last one I read is actually a novella. It was only 4 hours long audiobook, but is the setup, and I think you have to read it. Like this is kind of what it seemed. This is another, I think I must have just like tagged these all at once and I didn't know when I would get them, but this is another Why Choose book. This is I was in a mood whenever I put these on my thing a while ago. Some of these are dark, some of them are not, but this one is pretty dark. Also, I've heard like this was in dark romance and in a Why Choose, so like it was just the list I was looking at. This has I have like a gray and gold in here with like a dark purple gray black color, and this is Her Vicious Beasts. It's called The Beginning, by E.P. Bali. It's from Her Vicious Beasts, the book. the series, and the second one is called Her Feral Beasts, and I have that coming from the library soon, hopefully. I think it's actually a pretty long wait, like till the end of the year. I don't think I'll get it. It was very interesting. So the premise of this is that this also is like a singular, there's always a central bond, I guess, and they have as many bonded as, I guess like 1 to 2 is normal, and this girl has 5, and all 5 of hers, like the fates tell you, or like the fates or someone, oracle or someone tells you how many bonds you're gonna have, and everybody gets like a bonding mark on their neck, and you just try to find the person that has the matching bond. It's a little bit interesting, and like they have technology. You would think in the age of technology, people would just register what their bond is, their like bond mark is, and then they would just like very easily be able to find each other, because it's not like scent driven. Like the ones where that scent driven bonds in this paranormal world like make sense. You have to like travel around to find the right person, and then if their scent hits you, you're like, oh my gosh, that's my person. But if this is like a visual thing that you can see and you could theoretically take a picture of, then why wouldn't they just have a database of this? Anyway, this girl finds out she's bonded to 5 guys, and that they're all criminals, gonna be criminals. Not really sure how she knows this, because she's really young when she finds out, like 13. And these guys don't seem like they're much older. You meet some of them in this book. But anyway, her father makes her shield herself. So like her bond mark is missing. There's a magical element to the bond mark, so maybe only like your bonded can see it. I don't really know. Either way, she's a healer, and is the daughter of the Serpent King. So there's shifters. This is mostly just a shifters universe, I think. I haven't heard anything about witches or other things, but shifters can have these, you can have a shifting power, and then you can have another secondary power. This girl's a healer. It's not her main power. She has the main power that is like special. But she's a healer. She gets hired through her dad, who has kind of abandoned her anyway, to heal a prisoner. And when she's in the prison, she meets some of her other bonded, and you don't know why they're in there. And she eventually gets sold in a marriage contract, and then runs away. And I won't tell you all the things about how she gets here, but essentially all of this is to be that the bondeds find her, because they've met her now. They find her when she's run away, and that's actually the beginning of the books. So this is just a novella of the setup of like how they meet each other. So yeah, interesting. I'm interested to continue reading that, though. It was like, it seems like that's going to be like kind of an interesting power dynamic and other things, and I don't know exactly what her power is, and or what her shifter abilities are. So she's like keeping secrets from you too, so it's like going to be interesting to see what goes on with that. That was a lot of books this week. Sorry, that was a little bit long. But let's just chat really fast about upcoming plans and knit weekend. So as everybody travels to Rhinebeck, we are doing another Rhinebeck constellation weekend here on the West Coast with my knitting group. Not all of us are going. There are going to be 6 of us, and I'm really excited. I am going to bring my wheel. I'm going to bring, like I said, my Very, Very Merry from Yarn Jam, which is our sock spin this year for Christmas. For Christmas socks, with, I think me, Katie, Emily, and Ariel are all going to spin it. I think Maya also has some, but she's not coming to knit weekend. So we'll start spinning. Emily can't bring her wheel, but I'm gonna let her use mine, because obviously we're gonna have wheels there, and I have tons of extra bobbins, so I can even like loan her a bobbin for a period of time until she's done. So yeah, really excited to get that started. That's one thing I'm bringing. I will bring the house for a little bit of light extra activity. Also, just in case my forearm does start hurting a little bit, I want to have something that doesn't require like quite as much like grip, you know? And then I will bring most of the projects that I'm working on. I will not be bringing my seasons, because that is just like a big thing, and it's so tender, and I need to pay more attention to it. When I come home this week, though, that's what I'm going to focus on. So that is going to be the thing that I work on this week. So Fluffball Raglan, Mila probably is my one concentration project. The flax for Theo, I would like to get the majority of the flax knit this weekend. That's probably going to be the first priority. The second priority will likely be split between like my Fluffball and my Elton. Like I'll just use those as like the Fluffball for Wright until I split for sleeves will require a little bit more concentration. So it just depends on what we're doing like when we're hanging out, what movie we're watching. If it's a movie I want to watch a little bit more of, I might do the Elton because I just have to knit in the round and I don't have to think at all. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep it between those, and I'll probably bring my crosshatch for also conversational knitting. So I will have a big giant tote bag I will bring of all the projects. And yeah. I do have my mom's socks also. I'm going to be behind. There's no way I'm going to get them done in the next 2 weeks. I don't think so. Her birthday is on the 30th. It would be nice if I got them to her within at least a week after her birthday. November and December, I will be producing 4 to 5 pairs of socks. I'm going to do 4 for the kiddos. I have not picked patterns out yet. And so they're all going to be kid socks. So they should go pretty quickly, except for my nephew. He's got like young man socks. He's got pretty big feet already, but I will be getting those done from the colors that they picked out last year. And I just need to get some sizing from their parents. I know my nieces, my one niece, she was just here, so I measured her foot. But anyway, everybody else's I will have to do. Why I say 5 is because I think I'm going to throw Theo in there because she asked for a new pair of socks. And so she's going to see me knit these little kid socks. So I'll also throw a pair in for her. I just don't know what color I'm going to use for her yet. Just something or scrappy. I'm actually probably going to use hers for whatever the Andrea Mowry sock knit along that happens over Thanksgiving. I'll probably just do Theo's then. So I'll try to get the other 2 that I already need to do in November done in November, even if I start a week late because of my mom's socks. I have one more motion friend I need to get done, which is the duck. Since she only has a dress that goes a lot faster and the dress was fine, so I am going to be fine getting that done in the month of, sometime in November, December. I might like heavy load the socks in the beginning, try to get them done quickly, and then do Nana the duck, and then go back to Theo socks at the end of the month. I also can pause on Nana the duck and at a certain point and try to get some more socks done depending on when it is, because I think that baby is not due until the end of the year, though I'd like to get it to her before baby comes. We'll see. Yeah, so more things. I'm even going to do a moosh for Theo. So there's just like a lot of little knitting coming up for those. So yeah, but I'm really excited my mom's socks is the only other like new cast on I think I'll bring for the weekend. There's no plans for us to knit, sometimes we cast on a project all together. We have no plans for that. I'm going to go through some of my projects that are coming, and I will maybe cast on when I get home for something else if I make good progress. Like if I can finish or nearly finish Theo's flax, then I'll feel like I can cast something else on. And that cast on may be another make 9, or it might be something that's in I want to knit some of my past years of flock yarn before flock this coming year. So I need to get some of those things cast on. And also just to like use some of this beautiful wall. I do have a friend knit. I talked to my friend Kaylee about potentially knitting this up, and we were going to do the Cargill from the Crayabea, and I have to ask her on timing. She said November before, so I'll just kind of check in with her and see. That would be a fun one to get on the needle soon though. But yeah, I have a lot of lovely yarn. I just have to see what's speaking to me right now. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling like I want a green knit. That's like a color, or a dark blue knit. That's a color that's been like calling my soul right now. I don't know if it's like a fall thing because I'm not into the reds and oranges. So like dark greens are a good fall color for me. And I would still, I would happily stay in my pink era too. So pink and purple. I've been doing a lot of pink purple knitting lately. Anyway, those are all things that are kind of ruminating in my head. If I come up with concrete cast on plans for the end of the year for these last few months, I will let you know, and I'll show you what those project matches are. But so far, the ones I shared already, I pretty much cast on. But I am really excited for Knit Weekend. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll show you some of the pictures that we end up taking. And yeah, just excited to like, we kind of stay off phones. We just hang out. We just chat with each other and catch up. And not like we don't see each other a lot, but it's nice to like, we just like watch old movies and like chill together. Though we are going to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, not an old movie. And if you haven't watched it yet, you totally should. It's a really good movie. We'll get together our next color plan. We already picked out the yarn color and dyer that we're going to use. So we'll maybe get our order together for that and do some project planning, which will be really fun. And overall, just have a great time eating snacks, hanging out, being with friends. And so I hate leaving Theo for the weekend, but she has such a fun time with Mike. They're going to like go do park stuff, or, you know, there's a couple inside playrooms depending on the weather. And so they like to get out of the house together, and they like, Mike loves taking her to Costco. So like they go about town together. So they'll be fine. But yeah, I hope you had a fun time watching me today and that you got lots of good progress done. Please let me know what you are working on. Thank you for everyone for sharing your favorite fall recipes last week too. I got some really good ideas. I need to go back. I will have, by the time this comes out, responded to everybody, but I've been like, I was with my arm and stuff. I just like honestly was like trying not to be on my phone, because like I hold my phone in my left hand and that was hurting my arm. So I was just like, I've just been off of all the everything this week. I read on my Kindle, like laying on my side. And very slowly knit a little bit too. So anyway, back to normal, back to regularly scheduled activities this coming week, hopefully. And yeah, thank you for always commenting and interacting with me, and join the Discord. I had a couple people join this week. There's just never too late. You can join the conversations. I did not post in yet for a October knit hour, but I love to host a knit hour with you guys just to chat. Super casual, no agenda, just chatting and knitting with friends, sharing projects, sharing ideas, talking about other things. So I will put up times to host maybe for the very end of the month, or just we'll do early November, and then we'll do like an early December one too, before all the holiday craziness. So I'll get that together. That's what my promise to you guys. But yeah, share your projects, what you've been working on, any notes, any things, any questions about what I've made, any questions about plans coming up. I'm always happy to answer those too. And yeah, I love chatting with y'all. If you ever want to have questions about, like, I know I said this way early on, but I love to also look through patterns. If you guys have questions on patterns, finding the right yarn, and also if you like sizing questions, if you want to send me like, hey, I'm thinking about this pattern, but I'm not sure which size to pick, like, I will help you with that. I love to give some feedback. So yeah, anytime. I am available on Discord and Instagram are probably the easiest places to send me a DM, but you could also message me on Ravelry, and yeah, I'm happy to chat offline or like off of YouTube comments. So I will talk to y'all. Take care of your bodies. Don't injure yourself. If you injure yourself, take a break. Move around. Enjoy your fiber crafts, and I will talk to you next week.